Hello and welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Marin and here you will find a little beauty, a little books, and a little teaching content. So if that sounds like something you might enjoy, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around and join me in my little corner of YouTube. As you can see from the wheel next to me, it is time for another round of my Wheel of TBR, this time for the month of August. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to go ahead and do a recap for last month's spins, let you know how I did, if I managed to read them, etc. So the first prompt gave me a title with 4+ words in the title, and for that I chose The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, which I did read. Then I landed on middle grade, and for that I chose The Hero's Guide to Storming the Castle by Christopher Healy, which I also read. Then it landed on Stars on the Cover, and for that I chose The Wilder Women by Ruth Emmy Lang, which I did read. The next spin was series finale, and for that I chose Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. I am not quite finished. I am right here, almost done, and since I still have a few days in the month, this will be done by the end of the month, so I'm going to go ahead and consider it read. And the last spin gave me an adaptation, and for that I chose The Extraordinary Education of Nicholas Benedict by Trenton Lee Stewart, which I did read. So that means my July TBR was checked off, a success, so we'll see what August has in store for me. Now, before I start spinning my wheel, I am going to talk about a readathon that I'm going to be taking part in. It is the 9th round, I believe, of the Final Book Support Group. This is hosted by Steph Loves, and the focus is to read series books. She is hosting a week-long readathon in August. There are some prompts and some books that I have slotted into the prompts, so I'm going to go through those first because I'm hoping that I can get some of those books to also match prompts on my wheel so I don't have as many books to deal with. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Final Book Support Group prompts first, and then we will spin the wheel. So the first prompt for the Final Book Support Group readathon is to obviously read a final book. The whole goal is to finish series. So for that one, I am actually going to pick Persepolis Volume 2. This is by Marjane Satrapi. It is a graphic novel series that is all about her childhood up to her early adult years in Iran and Austria during and after the Islamic Revolution. I was reading that off Wikipedia. The summaries on Goodreads are in French, and I don't read French, so yes, I had to look up Wikipedia. But basically, Persepolis is the ancient capital of Iran, the Persian Empire, all of that. So this is just basically her story of what life was like during that time. I read the first one years ago, and I want to go ahead and finish the second one for this readathon. It's a graphic novel. It'll go really fast, so that's the one I'm going with for final book. The second prompt is to continue a series that you're unsure about. So a series that you're not really sure that you want to read in its entirety. So for that one, I'm going to go with the second book in the Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire, which is Down Among the Sticks and Bones. I read the first one a couple years ago. I only gave it 3 stars. It was okay. I didn't love it. So I'm not really sure that I want to devote time to what's going to be a 10-book series. So I'm going to give the second one a go, see how I think, and then make the decision on whether I want to continue or DNF it. Prompt number 3 is to do a spinner wheel. I'm going to combine this one with prompt number 4, which is to read a veteran sequel, a sequel that's been on your TBR for a long time. So I created a spinner wheel of some series. These are all series on my 10 series to finish in 2023 list, but these are all series that have been on my TBR for a very long time. So I'm just going to spin the wheel, see what series comes up, and that will be the book that I read for the spinner wheel and the veteran sequel prompt. So let me go ahead and screen record, and then we're going to go ahead and spin it. So here we go. Okay, so that is the second book in the Aurora Cycles series by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. Had to think for a minute. I do own it. It's up on top of like a bookshelf though, so I can't get it down. So here's the cover. It's called Aurora Burning, and it is book 2 in the series. So as I mentioned, this is a series on my 10 series to read in 2023. This will help me get some progress with that. So I will be putting Aurora Burning on my TBR for August. All right, the next prompt I am also combining with the one under it. So we have a book from the longest series on your TBR and also to borrow a book. So for this one, I am going to be reading the 20th Nancy Drew book, which is called The Clue in the Jewel Box, I believe. This is by Carolyn Keene, obviously. I'm working my way through the series, reading one per month, so this is perfect. Definitely the longest series. There's like 56 books in this series, so that is the one I'm going to be using for that prompt and to borrow a book because I will be reading it on Internet Archive. And then the final prompt is to read a most anticipated series. And for this one, I'm going to go with a new release, which is House of Root and Ruin by Aaron A. Craig. I read The House of Salt and Sorrow in June and really enjoyed it. So put the second one on my TBR. It's come in at the library. I just haven't picked it up yet. So that will be the pick for most anticipated. Okay, so now that those are all picked, I'm going to spin the wheel 5 times, see if I can't perhaps fit these books into these prompts. Let's cross our fingers. So here we go with spin number 1. All right, so the first prompt is found family, which I can definitely do with one of the books that I picked. So for this one, I will be using Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna McGuire. I don't know if this book necessarily deals with found family, but I know the first one did, since we're talking about kids who are all part of a home for wayward children. So I'm going with it. This is the one we're gonna pick. It's nice and short, good way to start, and I was able to get one of my final book support groups on this TBR. All right, we're gonna replace found family with 3 of them at once. No, let's try that again. All right, there we go, with a free space, which just means that I get to pick any book I want. All right, spin number 2. Ooh, okay. Doesn't really fit into my reading plans, but this is an Agatha Christie book. Now, I heard from a couple people on my last video when this came up, and I put it on the wheel of some recommendations, so let me think about which one I want to do. I think I know, but let me double check. Okay, so I was right. It is Murder on the Orient Express, which is the one that I'm going to give a go. I haven't read anything by Agatha Christie, so this will be my first experience, and hopefully I will enjoy it. And we're gonna replace Agatha Christie with a book from the Literally Dead book club. All right, time for spin number 3. Oh, this is nice. Okay, we have an ebook. I know what I'm gonna pick. This is gonna be the 20th Nancy Drew book, The Clue in the Jewel Box, rather. And I get them off Internet Archive, so they're all ebooks. I'm reading them on my computer, so that's perfect. That's what we're gonna go with. All right, we're gonna replace ebook with this one, which is a recent purchase. All right, and now it is time for spin number 4. Ooh, perfect. Okay, we have a thriller. Again, this is perfect because I'm going to put the book for the August Literally Dead book club pick on this list, and that is A Twisted Love Story by Samantha Downing. I don't know anything about it. I have read a book by her. We read one for the Literally Dead book club a couple years ago, which I did enjoy, so I'm curious to see what this one's about. I do have this on hold for my library. I'm still like hold number 14, but hopefully it will come in before the end of the month and I can give it a read. All right, we're gonna replace that one with this one, which is Features Royalty. And we are officially down to our last spin, spin number 5. All right, and for this one, we have water on the cover. This one I'm gonna have to look at and see what I can find. So let me take a look at the books I'm hoping to get to this month, see if any of them have water on the cover. Okay, that one took some searching, but I decided to go with my book of the month for August. I'm trying to read one book of the month book per month. So I'm gonna go ahead and do A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. I didn't really want to do this one because it's the start of another series. But it very clearly has water on the cover, so we're gonna go ahead and do it. None of the other book of the months that I have water on the cover, so we're gonna go with this one. It's a little bit longer than I was really wanting to put on this TBR, but I do know that there are audiobooks for these available on Scribd, I believe, so that's probably how I'll do it. But this one does have 467 pages, which was just a little bit lengthier than I wanted to do this month, but we're gonna do it anyway. So yes, water on the cover, A River Enchanted. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and replace water on the cover with this one, which is a book off the Libby app. So we will be ready for September. Okay, now let's chat about a couple other books that I want to get to this month. The first one is my buzzword pick for August. The buzzword is a body part. And for that, I am going to go with a book off of my 23 and 2023 list, which is Barbed Wire Heart by Tess Sharp. Heart obviously being the body part. So this will be my buzzword pick. I read a book by Tess Sharp a couple years ago, absolutely loved it. So I'm looking forward to reading the rest of her books, which is why I put this on my 23 and 2023 list. And I'm super excited and I hope that I love it. I also am going to need to read one more book from my 23 and 2023 list. That's such a mouthful because I try to read 2 per month. The 2 that I'm looking at, and I almost used this for water on the cover, but since I have to read a book of the month book, we're going, you know, whatever. So that was going to be Water for Elephants by Sarah Gruen. Doesn't have a picture of water on the cover, but it has the word water. So I was going to do that, but then I realized I still needed a book of the month. So that's why I went with A River Enchanted. I'm either going to read Water for Elephants or I'm going to read The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. So those are my 2 other choices for my 23 and 2023 list. They're both available via audio, so that's kind of why I went that way. I also want to read Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. I have it up from the library. I just have not had a chance to get to it. So that one I'm going to probably read the first week of August. So stay tuned for that. That'll be in a vlog. And then obviously the other books that I had mentioned for the Final Book Support Group. That readathon is taking place the second week of August. I do not in any way think I'm going to be able to read all of these books during that week because that is the week I report back to work. So we will just do what I can. Whatever I can't get read during that week, I am planning on reading throughout the rest of the month. So it might not be a week-long readathon for me. It may be like a month long, but they are all going to get read. So let's go ahead and just do a quick recap. For Found Family, I did choose Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna Maguire, book number 2 in the Wayward Children series. Then I had an Agatha Christie book, which I am going to read, Murder on the Orient Express. Then I had an ebook, so I'm going to read The Clue in the Jewel Box by Carolyn Keene, which is the 20th Nancy Drew book. For a thriller, I'm picking A Twisted Love Story by Samantha Downing. And then for water on the cover, I am going with A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. So that is the end of my Wheel of TBR for August. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel if you would like to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.